So proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? 611,611. 611,611 Americans, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, who no longer are with us today because of their deaths as a result of COVID-19. The pandemic has obviously cast a very dark shadow over this past year, so I'd ask that you all please join me in a moment of silence to reflect on all of the loss, both material and immaterial, of this past year. Thank you. My name is Eamon O'Carroll, and I am the class president and salutatorian of the NAS class of 2021. Before I begin my speech today, there are a number of people who I would like to thank by name on behalf of the class and myself. This year, more than any other, people have been called upon to step up and do far more than is typically expected of them. And so many people rose to meet the challenge. It felt inappropriate to try and slot all of these names into my speech, so I'd ask that you please sit tight for the next few minutes as I try and thank some incredible people. First and foremost, Pranali, Abby, Mia, Linnea, Mika, Liv, Mrs. Coles, and Mrs. Pinkston, my fellow class officers and representatives, as well as our class advisors. Thank you for your outstanding commitment to this class and your dedication to this class over the past several years. Mr. Jackson, Ms. Randall, Mr. Young, Superintendent Gilligan, Assistant Superintendents Mealy and Marks, and all members of the school committee, thank you all for doing your utmost to ensure that the seniors could have a great end of year, with part of that in school, and for doing so with grace while enduring a ceaseless barrage of criticism. To Mrs. Conti, Mrs. DeMario, Mrs. Gagny, Mrs. Kalil, Mrs. Roy, and Mrs. Rubino, our administrative assistants. Thank you for keeping this building running like clockwork in a year where so much remains subject to change. To our cafeteria workers, Ms. Murphy, Ms. Cummings, Ms. Cogliano, Ms. Ortiz, Ms. DeJesus, Ms. Laverdiere, Ms. Mochia, and Ms. Paz, thank you for nourishing thousands of our town's residents during the pandemic, going far above and beyond what is typically expected of you to serve this town when we needed you the most. To our custodians, Mr. Langlois, Mr. Skeetus, Mr. Bodenrader, Mr. Timoney, Mr. Philbrick, Mr. Iner, Mr. Flores, and Mr. Joniak. Thank you, for obvious reasons, for stepping up when this year demanded far more of any of you than any year prior. You persevered through a difficult year, kept us healthy, and kept NAS clean in your frequently underappreciated jobs. Nurses Goudreau and McDonald, both of you were burdened significantly more this year than most, but you handled the pressure brilliantly. Thank you. To the parents of this brilliant class, especially those of you who stepped back and gave us the creative freedom to lead this year, thank you for your support. You donated to the class when we needed it. You organized some incredible end-of-year events, and you were there to help us when hope was a far-off luxury. Let's give the parents a round of applause. To every single teacher, guidance counselor, coach, and staff member of this building who came to school every day with a mask and a smile, ready to face the challenges of the day, despite how limited motivation could be this year, thank you. Seeing you all persevere was fuel for us to continue, even during some of those darker winter months. Let's give them a round of applause, too. And finally, on a personal note, Rory, thank you for continuing to be my academic inspiration and pushing me to do more. Liam, thank you for your wonderful sense of humor. You never fail to brighten my days. And Ronan, thank you for entertaining me during this very long school year. Your stupidly intelligent wit will take you far in life. And Mom, what can I even say? You're the one who taught me how to be a wordsmith, but there are no words. You are just incredible, a bona fide Wonder Woman. Now, at this point, I'm gonna take a sip of water and then transition over to the speech portion of this speech. Have you ever heard of the flinch? One day, while exploring YouTube, probably procrastinating a particular paper for Dell, I came across a video by a creator named Matt Diavella in which he talked about, of all things, cold showers. Now, bear with me. So, by a show of hands, how many of you in this vast audience here have ever taken a cold shower? Quite a lot of you here have had that unfortunate experience, myself included. Now, in this video, Diavella cites an author named Julian Smith, who wrote a book titled The Flinch. So, what exactly is the flinch? Well, the flinch is that moment just before something you're fearing, where you shrink up in anticipation of it, even though it's yet to happen, just like before a cold shower. You're tense, you're anxious, your brain is doing everything it can to rationalize this irrational fear of something that's harmless and painless, just so that you won't do it. Why? Our lives are made comfortable by a lack of challenge. When you take that cold shower, it's abnormal. It's out of the routine. It's a brief but distinct disruption to normal, where you recognize just how comfortable our lives can be. The flinch. It's the feeling our track athletes get before towing the line at the state championship meets they continue to win year after year. It's the feeling our amazing marching band gets just before stepping onto the field to, inevitably, win another gold medal. Beyond school, though, it's that tension that you have before you've got to break some really awful news to someone you love and care deeply about. The flinch isn't just a part of life. It's integral to what it means to be a human. At every twist and turn, we are confronted with decisions that can make us uncomfortable. Some are meaningful, others are pointless. Mustard or mayo is far easier than medical bills or mortgage. The idea behind both of those decisions, though, remains the same. There are decisions and actions that we are confronted with in life that require us to charge headfirst into the flinch. Even if we don't put a name to that feeling, the flinch is a core part of life. Something interesting, though, about the flinch is how we choose to portray those who embrace it and those who don't. Individualism, it's a proud part of our culture. Those who embrace the flinch, we see them as aspirational, go-getters. We revere them. But those who don't, they're labeled as failures. We often fail to reflect, though, on what exactly brought those go-getters their success in the first place. My favorite Hemingway quote is, "No matter how hard he tries, a man alone ain't got no bloody chance." The pandemic has been more world-shattering and disruptive than any cold shower ever will be. Only in these past few months have we really been able to see one another again, beyond boxes on a screen. After the past 15 months, I hope we recognize just how much Hemingway's line rings true. We need each other. We can all push through those flinches that we encounter on our own. It is within our power as individuals. However, I am certain that my friends on the cross-country team, in the chorus, in the drama guild, and on the basketball team would all say it is immensely easier to get through those flinches with others. The individual is important, but we can't get so caught up in the idea of self-interest that we forget everyone who helped and helps us along the way. We need each other. When we, the people of North Andover, purchase tens of thousands of dollars worth of gift cards to keep small businesses afloat, when we raised money for headsets for our fellow students to learn remotely, when we labored tirelessly, sewing thousands of masks for our neighbors and those less fortunate than us, we showed that a community is a collective group of individuals, that our community is a collective group of individuals working to help others through their problems, through their flinches. As my track coach Nuge says, if you've listened to nothing I've said today, you should listen closely now. Do not let the fear of a new, changed, and different world be the guiding force in your life. My distance coach, Mr. Varney, continues to remind me that we must not shy away from change. Instead, it is crucial that we go on, hand in hand, to embrace whatever the post-pandemic world has in store for us. That might mean a generation of college students who go on to invent industries we cannot even fathom today. Perhaps we accept and elect a new generation of leaders who lead us forward with a new wave of thought. Or the world may stay the same, with some tinkering around the edges. Regardless, each and every one of us will be presented with opportunities far and wide that are not yet even gleams in our eyes. When those opportunities come, class of 2021, don't flinch.
Good afternoon. To begin, I would like to recite a short poem of my own composition. Inconceivable. I see red spots on leaves. Trees I knew to be green have adjusted to crimson, pushed to warm hues by the annual Jack Frost. I see the child of a butterfly, striped with alternating black, yellow, white. It eats and eats and eats, and after one look away, it transforms into a fairy with wings. I see a screen ablaze with faces, smiles dotting a seemingly empty room, yet a cubicle of connections in a dark age. It may seem inconceivable, But as a wise man once said, that word, I do not think it means what you think it means. Distinguished faculty and administration, family members, and fellow members of the class of 2021, my name is Pranalia Shara. On this wonderful day of commencement, I will be speaking to you all about my NHS experience and hopefully offer you some final words of insight before we embark on the next chapter of our lives. I would like to take this opportunity to first thank those in my life whose efforts have guided me to stand before you all today. Thank you to my family, my mom for being my sounding board, my dad for cheering me up after stressful exams, and my brother for answering my questions in almost every single subject. Thank you to my teachers for believing that I knew the answer even when I was too scared to raise my hand. Thank you to the NHS faculty and administration for persevering through this past year and for always making the high school a welcoming environment. And finally, thank you to my friends for staying by my side as I fangirled over my favorite band, for studying for stats, chem, and APUSH exams with me, and for always brightening my day. As I was pondering on what would be the subject of my speech, an idea my AP Gov teacher brought up struck me. It goes like this. Although we may not perceive ourselves to be qualified to survive in the real world, although we may not be able to complete our taxes without frantic Google searches at 12 a.m., although we may not know when to replace our septic systems, pro tip, it's 20 to 30 years. Thanks, Mr. Anderson. We have ingrained one particular action verb into our bodies, adapt. Adaptation is our most ultimate superpower. It allows us to retain our identities while participating in experiences outside of our comfort zones, and it provides us with the ability to navigate obstacles on our path to our goals. It is also present everywhere around us. As I mentioned in my poem, the leaves on trees color and fall when winter comes. Caterpillars transform into butterflies, and we have transitioned into a world of Zoom meetings. Without adaptation, we would be locked in our zombie apocalypse shelters with the slightest deviation from our envisioned course. But luckily for us, the NAS class of 2021, high school life has trained us to become forward-minded, but also flexible as thinkers and doers. This past year is a testament to our capacities. I would easily give us all a black belt in adaptation for our willingness to adjust, yet preserve our NHS identity in the time of a global pandemic. However, this instructional period has not been unique to this past year. We have been adapting since we set foot on Main Street through NAS's sports, extracurriculars, and academic classes, and I have seen this firsthand. In VEX Robotics, teams consistently innovate robot designs, passing through hundreds of iterations to succeed in matches. In student council, we learned to accommodate the wishes of our peers when we held dress-ups, Spirit Week events, and virtual challenges. In Girl Scouts and the Interact Club, we managed events and programs targeting sustainability, understanding the importance of being versatile in project management. And in the choir and band, performing music prompted us to be responsive to other musicians, to the conductor, and to changes in tempo, dynamics, and rhythm. In our academic classes, we were welcome to more instruction in adaptation. Mastering a foreign language meant often forgetting the exact word or phrase that we wanted to use. Instead of panicking, we were taught to describe the word in other words, modifying our speech to ensure the understanding of the listener. During science labs, teachers encourage us to embrace the unknown of beakers, deionized water, and triple beam balances to complete the task at hand, instead of relying on WikiHow to titrate an acid. And of course, modifications are needed when you stumble upon a trigonometric calculus problem and you forget how to calculate sine. Now, what will adaptation allow us to do when we leave NHS's tiled floors and venture into the bustle of adult life? For that, I draw your attention back to the quote that I employed at the end of my poem. Inconceivable. That word, I do not think it means what you think it means. If you had a spare 98 minutes on a Sunday night, you may have seen The Princess Bride and recognized this quote. As it states, many of us are most likely employing that word incorrectly. By describing a goal as inconceivable, we impede on our potential and downplay our abilities to be responsive to situations. We hold ourselves back before we've even heard the starting bell, guaranteeing ourselves failure. However, if we recognize what the past 4 years have demonstrated to us, our transition into mature, confident adults, then we immediately have a better shot to succeed. If we utilize our ability to adapt, then nothing is as impossible as it seems. You know Brock from Pokemon? He said, "I'll turn my trusty frying pan into a drying pan," meaning if there's a will, there's a way. In the same way that skillets made for frying Sunday dinner can turn into makeshift umbrellas, the knowledge we've amassed over 4 years of 6 a.m. wake-ups can turn into the stepping stones to discover our passions. All that is holding us back is an unwillingness to try. And for that, I have a simple remedy of 5 words. Adapt to conceive the inconceivable. Adapt to reach your goals, and adapt to carve the future that you wish to achieve. Just be sure to bring a frying pan in case it rains. Thank you, and have a nice evening.
Hello. My name is Nicole Fisher. I am the valedictorian, well, the other valedictorian of the class of 2021. It's really, really great to see you all here today, since for a long time we didn't think that we would get to, but here we are. Thank goodness. Before I get to talking about some of my personal experiences and hoping that maybe some people can relate or get something out of it, I have a couple of specific people I want to thank. First of all, my family that are here today, especially my mom, who is the strongest person I know, and yet at the same time is probably going to cry as soon as I mention her. Also my cat, he's not here, but he's at home, and I really like him, so. Also, all of the staff who have made my 4 years at North Andover High School feel more like a home. I'd specifically like to mention Miss Hoagland, my chemistry teacher, Madam Carroll, my French teacher, and Mr. Smalley, the band director. He's not making eye contact with me. So, I guess to start off, I've never really had a fear of public speaking. And I know some people are really going to resent me for saying that, because I read on the internet that public speaking is actually the #1 fear in America. I don't know what it is. I just don't have that little gnat in my brain that most people have. It could be a lack of evolved survival instincts. Maybe if, I lived in caveman times, I'd be eaten alive whilst trying to give a sales pitch to woolly mammoths or something. Who knows? So this speech should be easy. That's almost correct. Giving the speech is easy. Writing it, whole other kettle of fish. It's very simple. When I write or do schoolwork or draw or play tennis or just do things in general, I'm very much terrified of making mistakes. It started pretty innocuously when I was very young. Before I started kindergarten, my mother had already taken the time to teach me basic reading and writing, so 5-year-old me was already a little bit ahead of the curve. And this set me on a path of accelerated or advanced programs throughout elementary school. And to add to that, I grew up an only child among exclusively adult family members, meaning I talked like a 30-year-old. And as you can imagine, this really helped me make friends with other kids my age. As a result of these qualities, I was often favored, well-liked, praised by many of my teachers, and of course I thank them for that, but as an unintended consequence, I started to develop a little bit of a problem with perfectionism. Other people's expectations were very high for me. This helped me to be more ambitious and driven, but it also made me afraid to disappoint them. And their expectations became my expectations. it got to the point where if I got one problem wrong on the math homework or spelled one word wrong on a spelling test, I would burst into tears. I had trouble taking constructive criticism or corrections from teachers, which came off as me being proud or pompous, but the truth was that I was just scared to admit that my work wasn't perfect. And those particular habits luckily started to fade once I got to middle school, even if my eyes would still sting a little bit if I didn't do as well on a test as I thought I had. But as the volume and complexity of schoolwork increased, my inherent perfectionism issue continued to worsen. I was setting a bar for myself that I couldn't even reach if I stood on my tiptoes. And to all my tall friends that like to make fun of me, that wasn't a joke about me being short, okay? I'm actually statistically above average height for... Never mind. With high school came the introduction of new opportunities for high performance. Advanced classes, varsity sports, band, class rank, NHS, GPA, APs, PSATs, SATs, Doremi, ABC, 1, 2, 3. I had a new obsession, becoming valedictorian. And it made me focus on the wrong things. It made me fuss over numbers, classes, and grades instead of enjoying everything that high school had to offer. And while I'm incredibly proud of what I've achieved and the point that I've gotten to and the accolades that it has earned me, I feel like I could have done it a little differently in a way that was maybe kinder to myself and still gotten the outcome that I wanted. High school was also when I started to notice something. There were a lot of other people struggling with a similar problem. Not necessarily always as intense as mine, but I had always thought that I was sort of alone in my issue. And I think it's actually a problem all the people sitting in front of me here tonight have experienced to some degree. Nobody likes to mess up. Nobody likes making mistakes. It's human nature. There was a time when making mistakes meant getting eaten by woolly mammoths. And now that our society has become what it is, we've found new problems, less fatal ones for sure, but with the same instinctual panicked fear response. And this perfectionism can do great things for us, as it certainly has for me. As I mentioned, it makes us want to achieve more, and it makes us hold our work to a higher standard. But perfectionism in excess can lead to all sorts of mental health problems. And when you get to that point, it becomes easier to make mistakes, ironically. During my time in school, I was so afraid of making mistakes that I didn't realize I was making an even bigger mistake, not forgiving myself for being human. So, I'm ready to get a fresh start in college. I'm ready to stop being bogged down by the little goblin that sits in the back of my brain, hits me with a stick, says, "You have to be perfect." I'm ready to accept that my shortcomings are a part of me, just as much as my strengths. I'm ready to try new things, even if I'm not certain they'll work out for me. And North Andover High School class of 2021, I hope you'll follow me. Thank you.
Mr. Jackson, school committee, elected officials, faculty and staff, friends and family of the graduates, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2021. To say that the past 16 months have been challenging may possibly be the understatement of the year. Like Eamon earlier, I too would like to remember those family and friends who've been lost to the coronavirus and extend my condolences to those who lost loved ones here in North Andover and beyond. It is with tremendous pride that I address you tonight, live and in person. I am so happy that your loved ones are here. I'm so happy that we're not on a Zoom or a Google Meet or live streamed. Well, maybe perhaps this is probably live streamed. But we're here at Joe Walsh Stadium, and it turned out to be a beautiful evening. I'm extremely proud of each and every one of you and grateful for the teachers, coaches, and advisors and your loved ones who have guided you along the way. A little over a year ago, who would have imagined wearing masks, hybrid models, social distancing, and a plethora of other shutdowns and restrictions across the entire globe? When we first closed in March of 2020, the big question was, is Mr. North Andover really canceled? Never in my wildest dreams could I imagine what was to come. And while at times our nation has focused on COVID-19 and that which divides us, the class of 2021 made the conscious decision to focus on that which unites us. As a class, you have not complained. You have lived in the moment, sometimes creatively. You've made the best of all these new challenges, and you've led by example in ways that exemplify our raised values. So today is a day of celebration and hope. Today is a day when you remember how you got here and anxiously ponder what lies ahead. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." As superintendent of schools, I have certainly learned what lies within each of you. Very few graduating classes through the years have been asked to navigate the challenges that you've faced in the past 4 years. I have been amazed by what lies within you, by the grace, grit, determination, and kindness which you've handled this entire situation. I am confident that you will look back on this someday with great pride. Pride in the fact that you did what you always do. You overcame another challenge. Pride in the fact that you handled yourselves with respect and empathy for others. And pride in the fact that you proved yourselves as a class yet once again. And last but certainly not least, pride in the fact that you stood on the bow of the ship in the middle of the storm that was COVID-19, and to use a word from Eamon's speech, you didn't flinch. Momentarily, you'll receive your North Andover High School diploma or certificate, which represents the successful completion of all the state and local requirements. But a diploma means much more than that. It's the culmination of 13 years of hard work and perseverance that have brought you here tonight. You did this with some help along the way. I really hope that you take this weekend to enjoy it with family and friends, but also take it all in. And take some time to reflect and think about the people who have made a difference in your lives, who have helped get you to this stage tonight and have helped you build the foundation to succeed in the future. I urge you to let these influential people in your lives know how much they mean to you, how much impact they've had on your life or development, and how much you love them. Class of 2021, you represent what is best about North Andover, and I have no doubt that what lies within you will help make our world a better place.
Thank you, Eamon, Pranali, Nicole, and Dr. Gilligan for your wonderful words. Good evening, parents, guardians, families, friends, school committee, faculty, and most importantly, the class of 2021. My name is Chet Jackson, and I am the extremely proud principal of North Andover High School. On this very special evening, we are here to celebrate the 151st graduating class of Johnson High School and North Andover High School. At this time, on behalf of NAHS, I'd like our graduates who are entering any level of military service to please stand and be recognized. Thank you for your commitment to service. Graduates, I'm honored and now relieved to be able to deliver these remarks on a beautiful Friday night, in person to the class of 2021. We've had quite the journey over the last 4 years. I say we because you are the first graduating class to spend all 4 years with me as your principal. Although the role of high school principal is slightly different from the role of a student, I'm proud to have done my best to support all of you during our shared time together. In trying to put some coherent thoughts together for this speech, I started to look for inspiration and motivation. I could have gone to my phone or computer for a Google search, but who at this point can go back and wants to go back to computer or technology? Good thing that as I sat in my office, that I decided to look over to the wall and spotted a tried and true yellow square 3-inch by 3-inch sticky note. Yes, I still use sticky notes. On it were 3 words: reflect, celebrate, and grow. These are 3 things that I aspire to do on a regular basis to improve as an educator and as a human. I believe it's important for all of us to have goals and to be able to take time to quietly reflect on the experiences within the time frame of those goals. For graduates, the end of high school is a natural time to reflect on your personal and educational journey. It's a time where you can celebrate your accomplishments and your strengths with family and friends while identifying areas of growth for the future as you embark on the next stages of your lives. As I reflected on the time spent with the class of 2021 in my first 4 years as principal, what immediately stood out was the historic and deep affliction that everyone was forced to deal with as a result of several events that occurred outside of the school from 2018 to the present. These events included the following: the deadliest high school shooting in U.S. history at Stoneham Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. In the fall of 2018, a series of gas explosions in North Andover, Andover, and Lawrence that caused well over 50 fires and the evacuation of over 30,000 people, and tragically 1 fatality. In early 2020, one of the deadliest pandemics of all time was declared by the World Health Organization because of the coronavirus, a pandemic that we're still dealing with today that's affected millions of people. In January of 2021, the United States Capitol building had a successful armed insurrection for the first time in over 200 years. Wow. And that's just some of the events that happened outside the walls of North Andover High School. I share that list not to be negative or to bring us down, but to remind everyone that our graduates successfully navigated their high school careers in the midst of one of the craziest and challenging times in any portion of my lifetime. And because of that, there's actually a great deal to celebrate as our graduates move on to their next steps. I'd like to celebrate a couple of things with everyone here tonight. I'll remember and celebrate the class of 2021 mostly for their courage, their fortitude, and their resolve. Graduates, you've demonstrated great emotional and mental strength to deal with the adversity of the last few years. You've all done so with great courage and with the support of your family and your friends. I'd like everyone to take a brief moment to remember your friend group or family members that helped get you through those toughest moments when you were in lockdown last year. Remember how they made you laugh, supported you, and got you through those toughest moments. Please smile widely and feel free to give them a quick wave if they're here in attendance. My wife and I still have our COVID-19 text group going with our good friends who supported us throughout the most difficult times. We can celebrate having the opportunity to see our family and friends safely now and in person. I'll also remember and celebrate the class of 2021 for setting the foundation for a true student voice at North Andover High School. We've seen student voice increase over the last few years with our active student council, student ambassadors, student school committee representatives, and announcements from some of our clubs that represent race and ethnicities that make up a lower percentage of the population here in North Andover. During specific months in 2021, leaders of our Black Student Union, our Muslim Student Association, and our Asian Pacific Islanders clubs thoughtfully decorated our school and put together music and information on heroes from their various races and cultures to share with the high school community. NAHS is continuing to learn more about the experiences, races, and cultures from our diverse community, thanks to the work of you, our students. Oh yeah, starting next week during announcements, our students will hear from leaders in our Gender and Sexuality Alliance Club to learn more about the heroes of the LGBTQIA community. Reflection and celebrations can also lead to growth. As a society, as a town, and as a high school, we have the ability to grow. The conversations and learning opportunities are vast and can feel endless. A quick and small list of potential subjects that I wrote down on another sticky note after reflecting on the major events of the last 4 years were politics, gun control, police, public safety, mental health, science, disease, equity, and of course, race. Many of these topics are heavy and emotionally draining to talk about. They are topics of conversations that are often avoided at homes, especially at holiday gatherings. However, they are subjects that often carry over into our schools. School systems have often shied away from having professional development and preparation on topics like race and bias. I'd like to let all of you know that North Andover Public Schools is not one of those districts. Thanks to the work of our Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Marks, Humanities Coordinator, Mrs. Ando, and others, we have professional development on race and achieving equity in our schools that's available for teachers, administrators, and our school committee. As I look to grow as a leader, I'm excited, and I know that I have to do my part to set goals to prepare our faculty to be able to facilitate difficult conversations with students on topics like race. These learning opportunities and conversations can start with listening and sharing of our experiences. In his book, Courageous Conversations About Race, a field guide for achieving equity in schools, Glenn Singleton offers 4 agreements of courageous conversations. He believes by committing and embracing to staying engaged, experiencing discomfort, speaking the truth, and expecting and accepting non-closure, we can start to manage conversations as real change begins to occur. As a community, I aspire for us to collectively grow together to embrace the necessary changes needed to support all of our community members. We should be prepared for that unanticipated moment where we need to speak up and say something when a racial discrepancy is identified. As I look around Walsh Stadium, I see a very beautiful, caring, and diverse portion of our high school community made up of many different cultures, races, and ethnicities that have all come together to celebrate our graduates. As I look forward to the growth of our community in the upcoming years. To the class of 2021, I want to thank you again for your courage, your fortitude, your resolve, and of course, your voice. Best of luck with all your future goals and dreams. Tonight, I'm honored to present to the community of North Andover the 151st graduating class in Johnson High School in North Andover High School history, the class of 2021. Thank you.
Do I say something to bring them up, or do I? Yeah. Okay. Can the first row start to get up and come this way? Thank you. Okay. All right. Yeah. Just if you want to stand at the bottom of the stage right here. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
I'm gonna get assaulted by this. And then you have to go up the stairs. You're gonna read your name, and then you're gonna go.
Okay. Emily Chase Adam. Abigail Adukewe. Daniel Inore Agobor. Matthew Almeida. Kai Amuan. Pavitra Anitha Kuman. Jack Lemar Andre. Lillian Marie Andriolo. Alessandra Nicole Antonelli. Stephen Roger Arbo.
Slow down a little bit.
Okay. Valedictorian and class representative Pranali Sharish Ashara. Theodore M. Asbestos.
Speak up into the microphone.
Speak up? Okay. All right. Kyle Acadia Babb. Courtney Margaret Baird. Alexander Thomas Balaguer. Emma Ballerini. Michael Dominic Ballo. Aiden Michael Barnett. Adiana Victoria Barrett. Audrey Germaine Bartlett. Sebastian Bastista. Brian Bodrin. Alec Beresford. Joseph Bernard. Samantha Burnett. Timothy Joseph Baribi. Christina Bea.
Look at those heels. I could never. No, it's like Christina. Go ahead.
Ryan Biancavilla. Jack Harris Bixler.
Oh, you're all set.
National Honor Society Secretary Carly Nina Balecki. Riley Elizabeth Bodenrader. Jordan Elise Boudreau. Emma Barasa. Ethan Barasa. Daniel Scott Bramwell. Emily Ann Brandner. Adam Patrick Brimmer. Hannah Brooks. Warwick Brown. Ryan John Burba. Tyler Lewis Bussell. M. Bouye. Olivia Rose Byers. Thomas Michael Cacase. Robert Brown Caldwell. Chrisandra Marie Calixto. Max James Campion. Mason James Campion. Woo! I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry. All right, now we go. Maximilian Davis Campion. You're good. Jack Peter Carboni. Adam Michael Carey. Jeremy Carrieri. Janya True Carilo. Jack Ethan Costanzo. Oh. No, whatever. I messed up. Sorry, Jack. Alina Rose Chadsman. Andy Chen. Eric Chen. Anna Clark. Ryan Joseph Clooney. Brendan Collins. Okay. Jacob Eugenio Colon. Madeline Mary Comerford. Hannah Matsuka Connolly. Patrick James Connolly. Jason Devin Conserva. Luke Angelo Conti. Kyle Edward Corliss. Sean Braden Corliss. Katie Isabella Corrigan. Tyler Corsi. Lauren McCarthy Constanzo. Thomas James Cox. Jacqueline Ann Crato. Megan Crumrun. Kayla Ann Cunningham. James Custer. Matthew Nicholas Stacy. Alexandra Rose Daigle. Courtney Susanna Dolke. Warner Alfredo de la Cruz.
Juliana DeCaro. Caitlin Marie D. Francesca Denisco. Peter James DeBias. Dario Lorenzo de Blasi. Grace Elizabeth de Blasio. Ainsley Lisbeth Dione. Kelsey Aline Dione. Seth Michael DeSalvo. Thomas Richard Doherty. Kendall Simone Dowdy. Kendall. Michaela Dwyer Downer. John Paul Drew. Emma Grace Driscoll. Nicole Christine Dumont.
Yeah, Nicole.
Brett Neil Dunham. Isabel Reese Sterning. Rachel Lynn Eddy. Grace Caroline Erie. You good? William Michael Equi. Nevada Rose Fahey. Solana Florence Fahey. Jason William Farrow. Sophia Teresa Farrow. Braden Robert Farr. Grace Eleanor Faucon. Dylan Patrick Faulkner. Eileen Grace Fay. Mariana Fideli. Carmen Nicole Federico. Owen Ellis Ferguson. Paul Fernandez. Sophie Ferrero. Jenna Bernadette Ferris. Nicholas Ferrucci. Stephen Edward Ferrulo. Sabrina Elizabeth Fielder. Raven Flor Figueroa. Derek Joseph Finn. Jonathan Robert Finn. Valedictorian Nicole Calandra Fisher. Elizabeth Rose Fleury. Emma Flynn. Elizabeth Anna Forrestay. Camila Franco. Leisha Franco. Corey Alex Friedman. Jane Cordelia Freund. Riley Jane Gagnon. Shruti Gajar. Supraja Ganti. Katrina Hannah Garcia. Lincoln Garcia Gervasoni. Michaela Ann Gilday. Morgan Elizabeth Gilday. Max Gillen. Ryan Asher Glicklich. Dylan Everett Goldman. Kayla Rose Goodwin. William Allen Bozorth Gossman. Zachary George Godebed. John Matthias Guarini. Tyler Vincent Guptill. Emily Hale. Thomas Martin Hall. Aiden Ham. Nicholas William Hamilporter. Lily Grace Hammer. Elizabeth Grace Harrison. Adam Peter Hines. Nicholas Harold. Riley Barnett Haystack. Jared Walter Hiller. Brendan Paul Holland. Julia Simons Holleran. Riley Horn. Andrew Brian Howard. Alana Hunter. Mia Hyland.
Ashley Claire Iglesias. Benjamin Richard Jackson. Layla Jalal. Anthony Allen Jordan. Brooke Nicole Kameneski. Erwin Kamwene. Simran Paret Kaur. Gavin Alexander Kine. Chloe Kathleen Killalay. Benjamin Jensen Kingsley. Matthew Kirk. Cole Albert Koenig. John Tyler Kuska. Matthew Lawrence Cutts. Juliana Lamarca. Victoria Lamarca. Jake Hunter Landry. Molly Sheridan Larson. Andrew Lazan. Bailey Sandra Larson. Yes. Ashley Lane. Jenny Lay. Aiden Leahy. Jakari Valina Ledisma Bautista. Oh my God, your cap, I love that. Look at her cap. Alexander Cooper Lee. Aubrey Sapphire Lee. Sabrina Lee. Yes, we are, baby. Samantha Reese Lee. Benjamin Anthony Lising. Nicholas Edward Levy. Anastasia Likanova. Camille Chantel Lopez. There she is. Kathleen Elizabeth Lovett. Nicholas Vincent Lucarini. Antonio Machado. Madeline Grace McClellan. Aaron Paul Mancanello. Peter F. Mann. Alexander Paul Manning. Colin James Marconi. Peter O'Neill Martell. Yeah, Pete. Munashe Ryan Masiwa. Yes, Moon. Our NHS President and Class Representative, Abigail Jane Mastromonaco. Hasina Gabriel Mader. Francisco Xavier Matias Ortega. Cameron N. Mon. Liam Charles McAdam. Connor James McGarry. Ryan Patrick McKenna. Alyssa Marie McNaught. Nora Elizabeth McQuaid. Yasmin Mered. Kenley Milovanovic. Christian Gabriel Manaya. Chloe Bell Moeller. Jocelyn Summer Mongel. Jaslyn Moreno. Segev Albert Moritz. Jordan Marill. Emma Grace Morey. James Thomas Muldoon. Maliko Muller. Yeah, Kellen. Kellen James Murphy. Kelly Elizabeth Murphy. Michael Balin Murphy. Edward Ezekiel Nakami. Dominic Fiore Nagar. Jamila Namuganda. Ava Kathleen Nasser. Elizabeth Neff. Jason Richard Ness. Josh Nakata Nisenbaum. Tyler Vincent Nobley. Molly Bridget Nugent. Stephen Nuttall. Got this, dude. Alina Faith Oliveri. William Ortiz.
Jason Ottersberg. Nicole Grace Olette. Jessica Palma. Matthew David Palmazano. Class Representative Linnea Balin Parker. Alexandra Parsons. Abhi Vipul Patel. Mit Patel. Maria Elizabeth Paul. Emily Lynn Peck. Christopher Dominic Pensavalli. Anthony Joseph Perilla. Gabriel Perez. Zane Samuel Perry. Graham Marshall Peterson. Noah Petrowski. Bryn Liana Pignatoni. Nathaniel Bennett Pliskaner. Yeah, Nate. John Thomas Plodzik. Duncan Preston. Ethan James Putnam. Hannah Erin Quinn. Shafa Rahman. Michael Everett Raisin. Elijah Stephen Ralph. Janya Ramachandran. Davis Taylor Randall. Lily Ratcliffe. Caden Charles Regan. Charles Robert Regan. Kaylee Grace Regan. Seamus Regan. Hadley Nicole Ranke. Christopher Derek Roten. Eleanor Catherine Richard. Emily Noel Richards. Alexis Cynthia Richardson. Callista Ringler. Mia Eliza Rios. Mark Edward Reisacker. Nora Lauren Rivers. Cassandra Gail Robinson. Daniel Christopher Roach. John Patrick Roach. Jeremy Rodriguez. Josias Rodriguez. Liam Peter Ross. Diogo Rossi. Patrick Thomas Roycroft. Maxwell Thomas Ruland. Brendan Michael Ryan. Trevor Ethan Sacco. John Charles Salas. Logan Anthony Salak. Ava Elizabeth Samanuk. Jose Sanchez. William Gerald Schimler. Sydney Lee Schwalm. Sean Michael Scully. Mason Pace Seminac. Kato Hussein Senyunja. Dylan Robert Seville. Rhea Shaw. Sunhun Shin. Anika Schroff. Mary Grace Sakari. Allison Ann Seidel. Audrey Blanche Simmons. Alexandra Wynn Seatack. Charles Edmund Slattery. Benjamin Aaron Slapoy. David Soskov. Catherine Souza. Damian Michael Stokes. Lucas Wojtek Studzinski. Elizabeth Ann Sutera. Alexandra Swartz. Madeline Page Sweeney. Nicole Alexandra Syme. Megan Mary Simon. Maya Halal Maluk Tabrizi. Hannah Elizabeth Tenenbaum. Michaela Katerina Terlizzi. Kimberly Noelle Thomas. Zoe Alexandra Thompson. Olivia Andrea Tudisco. Leah Catherine Towler. Kiara Lee Trafton. Camille Leah Travalia. Aiden Christopher Trundy. Jack Twombly. Burke Uloglu. Alright. Samuel Clayton Ursu. Olivia Rose Vance. Julio Alejandro Vasquez Espinoza. Lenil Veguia Aponte. Evelyn Wang. Cameron Robert Watson. Joseph Watson. Maisie Lucille Waters. Billy Webb. Ryan Buddy Whitley. Morgan Christine Whitlock. Madeline Mary Williams. Matthew John Williams. Benjamin Arthur Williamson. Molly Margaret Willis. Grant Crawford Willow. Phoebe Ann Wilmot. Katie Wojcik. Maxwell Wolfgang. Jacob Daniel Walensky. Brian Wu. Your National Honor Society Vice President, Clarence Jahung Ye. Victoria Grace Young. Elizabeth Sabrina Umagwani. Jake Zanini. Rochelle Ariella Zinlin Pukovitsky. Your National Honor Society Treasurer, Sophia Marie Zamorowski. Crystalee Zarilla. Hey. Come up. Mia first.
Go down?
Yeah.
No, you. Okay. They don't have to get off the stage. You can go.
Oh, okay. They were just gonna walk in.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. It is my distinct pleasure to present your three lovely class officers, your outstanding class treasurer, Mia Julia Muse. Your fantastic class secretary and my partner in crime on the school committee, Mika Ray Pelletier. And your wonderful class vice president, Livia Ann Spino.
And our amazing salutatorian and president of the class, Eamon Cormac Carr O'Carroll.
Go up in front. Go up in front.
Graduates, would you please stand? All right. On the count of three, move your tassels from right to left. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations! Throw them up!
Let's go, guys. Big hug.